Thank you, Dr. Doni. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And also my honorable panelists, Prof. Kana, and also Dr. Rini and Dr. Antonia. Today I would like to present my case. The title is Percutaneous Mechanical Thrombectomy with angiojet combined with powerful thrombolysis in patient with subacute limb ischemia due to infective endocarditis. We have female, 24 years old. She has infective endocarditis due to mitral regurgitation since 7 months ago. And then she came to our hospital because of 5 days pain on the left leg. The pain is around 6 to 8 of the level of the pain. And she also felt numbness and mild reduced capillary refill time. And then we diagnosed the patient with Ali Rutherford 2A. And then we give fractional heparin, antiplatelet, and also antibiotics. And then we perform urgent arteriography. You can see here that the left leg showed that and there was decrease of the saturation. Yeah, this is the arteriography. We can see that there is total occlusion of the superficial femoral artery here. And then we decide to do balloon angioplasty because at that time we don't have angiojet yet, and we think that catheter direct thrombolysis is has higher risk of bleeding, so we just plan to do balloon angioplasty. And then we use pilot 50 to cross the lesion here, and the pilot successfully crossed the lesion. And then we do balloon angioplasty, 3.5, 20 millimeters. We make several balloon inflation until 16 atm. From the proximal to the distal superficial femoral artery. And this is the final angiogram after we did balloon angioplasty. We can see there was flow here from the proximal to distal SFA. And also we can see the flow to the distal of the pedis. And because of the two, saturation was increased to 100%, we stopped the procedure and then we moved the patient to the ward. And at the day one, the pain was reduced and patient felt no numbness again, and the pulsation got stronger. And we can see here that the saturation is good, around 98 to 96%. But unfortunately, at the day 3, the pain was appear again, and the saturation was dropped to around 70%. And because of the cause, and also because of the target APTT level is not reached yet, we just give optimal heparin. And at day 5, and there was no pain again, and then we discharge the patient. And then we give warfarin, clopidogrel, and also antibiotics. And 3 weeks later, the patient suffered from claudication intermittent here on the left leg. And from the duplex ultrasound, we can see that there is still thrombus here, persists. And we can see from the duplex ultrasound, there is monophasic flow from the popliteal artery. This is evidence of the obstruction of the proximal of this artery. And then we perform arteriography at the time. And we can see that here there is total occlusion again of the SFA, superficial femoral artery. And then because of we just got a new angiojet, first time at our hospital, and then we plan to do angiojet, and then we try to cross the lesion. Actually, we get difficulty to cross the lesion, and so we have made mid perforation here. But after several times, we successfully crossed the lesion using flat wire with the knuckle here. And because we think that the thrombus is so hard, we did balloon angioplasty using 3.5, 20 millimeters. And this is the result after balloon angioplasty. We can see that there is flow to the distal. And because we have angiojet, and then we decide to use powerful thrombolytic alteplase 20 milligram from the proximal to the distal SFA and also to the popliteal artery. And then we waiting for 20 minutes. And after that, we with thrombectomy using Solen Omni catheter with total runtime around 320 seconds. And this is the final angiogram. We can see that there is no thrombus again, but we can see there is spasm here, maybe because of the vessel is so small, because of mechanical trauma, maybe because of the angiojet. And so we think that we have to perform arteriography again next day to confirm that this is spasm or not. And then we can see here that the vessel is bigger but still spasm here. But we can see that the flow is very good, and we can see the flow until reach the distal. And after PMT and also thrombolysis, patient no pain and also no bleeding, and the saturation was good, around 99 to 100%. The patient could walk without pain until 50 minutes. And then we discharged the patient and gave the patient with warfarin and clopidogrel. The lesson learned that we can catch on the patient is that acute limb ischemia due to infective endocarditis is rare, but it can cause serious mortality and also morbidity. But so far, no guideline recommends specific therapy for acute limb ischemia due to infective endocarditis. And several case reports showed that embolectomy may be done, but we have to think that it have high risk of operation sometime, and some center, especially in our country, embolectomy maybe cannot be done quickly. So maybe thrombolysis or percutaneous intervention can be a choice. And we know that thrombolysis is widely debated due to risk of hemorrhagic, and especially in atrial fibrillation. And from this case, percutaneous mechanical thrombectomy using power pulse thrombolysis is safe and effective. But further studies, I think, and follow-up are needed to confirm this result. Okay, thank you.
Right. Okay, good. Very interesting presentation. I believe this patient has recurrent emboli due to the infective endocarditis. So, what about the heart itself? Because if the patient got re-embolized again, so the urgent for the patient to having heart surgery is very indicated. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree, Dr. Doni. I think this patient has to do surgical operation, valve reconstruction, valve replacement since 2 months ago. But unfortunately, the patient come to us with acute limb ischemia. And in the next week, the patient was scheduled from the valve replacement.
All right. So, Prof. Kana, do you think the approach of doing a angiojet is really indicated for this kind of patient, based on your experience, Prof. Kana?
Yeah, it is. Actually, if you have it, it's really indicated because it takes out the clot in no time, and also it reduces the dose of thrombolysis. But while I was seeing this interesting case, I was also interested to know the material which we took out. Was it a vegetation or was it a thrombus? So, because otherwise, in a pure infective endocarditis, if it embolizes, thrombolysis is a relative contraindication. So, if what you aspirated in thrombolysis, did you find some vegetation or infective material coming back?
Dr. Taufik?
Yeah, we think that because of if we just remove the thrombus but we don't take the vegetation in the cardiac, the vegetation the emboli can happen again, can occur again. So we think that we have to treat the primary cause of the emboli here. It's vegetation, so we have to remove the vegetation in the heart and also repair or replace the valve of this patient. Thank you.
Yeah.
But did you really find a vegetation when you aspirated through Bose's angiojet, or it was just blood? Because it could be either. If the vegetation is there, I think the better option would have been to actually do a Fogarty and take it out, because those are infective materials. You don't want those things to go down, and they would keep embolizing if it is embolized once.
Yeah, because we see from the angiogram there is no vegetation again, so we think that it was the angiojet. but because of the we know that from the back of the angiojet we can see there is blood, but we cannot see the clear vegetation, the big vegetation from the back. I don't know, is the angiojet can also break down the vegetation or not?
I don't know, because angiojet, I don't think that's an IFU to do angiojet on infective emboli, but it would have been good if you could have cultured that or send it to microbiology and see whether it was an infective material there or it was just a blood thrombus. Because thromboembolism in infective endocarditis should have some more etiology rather than just, it doesn't, the thrombo doesn't sit on a valve. It's embolic material. Maybe it was an embolism and then subsequent thrombosis happened over it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Those are some possibilities.
Dr.
Yeah,
Doni,
Dr.
may
Rini.
yeah.
Yeah, we have sound problem a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay,
Dr.
Dr.
Doni.
Antin, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
short comment.
I think this is the case of the mycotic aneurysm of the infective endocarditis. So the artery itself is already infected, and then develop aneurysm, and then develop thromboembolism. So if this happens, so the first thing to do is antibiotics to treat the artery first. So it will keep emboli. It will keep producing emboli. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, just like what happened in the brain, right? When somebody have a mycotic. Thank you, Dr. Antonia, for the sharp comment. Yes, I think we have the last presentation because unfortunately, Dr. Srikala from India cannot present her case. So it will be our last presenter from our session, Dr. Muhammad Reza Pasioli from Bandung, West Java, Indonesia, will present his case. Please, Dr. Reza.